Sometimes racism, discrimination, inequality can be subtle, not easily detectable, which makes them all the more insidious, dangerous, and impossible to navigate. Yet they often infiltrate important American institutions. It takes a very special person to guide young people, especially immigrants, through them. Jaime Barajas is just such a person. He is educating and empowering Boys and Girls Club youth as their founding college-bound director. From late-night college application workshops to personally driving students to take the SAT early on Saturday mornings, he offers a wisdom that springs from his own experience. His family arrived when he was a baby, and his early life wasn't easy. He faced many setbacks and now manages to use every one of them as a learning experience to pass on to the youth he works with. Jaime, what was life like growing up at home when you were a kid?
We lived in one room, and there was a lot of things that were no longer, like I didn't have a dog anymore. We had a lot of very humble beginnings, I want to say, in the United States. It felt very limiting. We rented a room in a friend's house, and the friend had like Nintendo and toys and bikes, and I remember my parents being like, don't touch any of those because we can't afford to buy new ones if they get messed up or broken.
So you saw all these things, but you were in the outside.
I was, even though I was living within the things. So it was interesting to be a child that I wanted to build, to play with these different things, and I wasn't allowed to.
Tell me about your high school experience, and in particular, now that you are in the business of giving support to youth, the support systems that helped you out.
My freshman year, there was this high school teacher, and what he did was he took some of our high-performing students that were also low income, and he did a MESA engineering program for us. And from there, he opened us up to different opportunities that were really pivotal in my high school success in terms of guiding me to college and scholarships and college access programs that I was a part of throughout high school.
You graduate from high school, yes, and you're in the fast track, you're going to college.
Yes.
High expectations. I gather it wasn't exactly what you were prepared for.
It was not. It was very surreal. I grew up in North Fair Oaks, which is a predominantly Latino population, and most of my friends in high school were also predominantly Latinos. And then I go to Chico State, and it was 6% Latino, and it was predominantly white. So that was a huge culture shock. For Cesar Chavez Day, our school gives us the day off for service, and there was a local bar that was trying to capitalize on this. They had this ad out that said, immigrate to Normal Street Bar for some fine pickings. And so it depicted migrant farm workers in both a really rude and discriminatory fashion. And I was like, these people are giving their lives up for them to survive in this country, and here we are depicting them in such a dehumanizing way. And so we rallied up a group of 30 students, and we talked to the bar owner, and he wouldn't take down the advertisement. And so we had a peaceful march demonstration the night of, and so he didn't have any patrons going to his bar, and that hurt him. That hurt him where he thought he was going to be the most successful. And so that was the first time that I felt like there was a reason why I needed to be in higher ed, and this did question a lot of my work that I wanted to do. It was interesting because he was very adamant about this wasn't going to hurt anybody. And so and he thought that we were powerless, and that's where I learned the power of the people is definitely powerful. That incident helped me solidify that I wanted to do social justice work. There was one sociology African-American professor, and I remember at the end of my freshman year, I went to her and I cried to her about how I wanted to drop out, and I was just so fed up with how white this institution was, how racist it was, and she was like, there's already so few brown faces here. She's like, by you giving up, they win. And she was like, I'm not telling you you have to stay or not, but I'm asking that if you do stay, you're creating a pathway for other students. And it's funny because I followed the data, and now 1 out of 3 students at my undergraduate institution are Latino.
But I gather for you that was a pivotal moment that you'd like to perpetuate.
It meant that for some reason that felt like I wasn't alone, and that the Latinos that experienced this before me were opening doors for us. And so therefore I felt like this is something that I needed to do for future generations as well.
So fast forward to now. You had quite a cushy job at Stanford.
I did.
A privileged job that you gave up to be where you are now.
So I was one of the student services coordinators for the Center of Comparative Studies in Race and Ethnicity, and it was an amazing job. I loved it, but I felt as though that the students who already made it to Stanford, their lives have been changed forever. And so when the opportunity arose to be a college access manager, then I jumped on it because I was like, I want to help students get into schools like Stanford. And that's how you create a real difference. And then if you nurture those relationships, those students will come back to the communities and create real change. One of my favorite weeks is the end of March when the students are hearing back from schools. I cry every March. I'm just like, students, this year was one of our biggest, most successful years. And I remember the last student who called me for Berkeley, and I can't hear her. She's just bawling on the phone. And I'm like, what's wrong, you know? And she was like, I got in. And I was like, yes, these are the moments that we've worked for 4 years.
Do you know someone who has overcome significant hardship and has an inspiring story to tell? Someone who has sacrificed or given over and above to the community and deserves some recognition? If so, please contact us with your nomination for next year's Local Hero Awards. To find out more about our local heroes and to watch interviews with all the winners, visit our website, midpenmedia.org. At the Mid-Peninsula Community Media Center, you can make your own videos and television programs and take classes in all aspects of media production. You can also hire our professional services team. To find out more about that, go to mcproservices.com. Congratulations to all our winners, and thank you for watching.